Lime is more durable. In simple terms, it's more durable, more breathable, and has more strength than cement. Of course, that the work that we do is from the past, but the mindset that we have is of the present. So in order to motivate them, there is two things. There should be purpose, like every morning they should know why they are here, and there should be recognition. Yeah, so what we do is we document our work, we photograph it, we spend a lot of effort in doing that. We have an in-house team to create documentaries. Another important value that I would like to talk about is commitment and accountability. The three things that I would like to advise is details matter, your team is everything, and leadership is a service.
Hello and welcome to GIBS IRE Podcast. This is a very interesting session, and today I'm Dr. Anita Kurian hosting this session for you. We have a very interesting person here with us, something that we wouldn't even expect something like this even exist. So, do you want to know who it is? We have Mr. Jagrut Savani. He is a civil engineer by education, a heritage conservationist by passion, and currently he is the CEO of Savani Heritage Conservation. His academic journey spans from a BTech in civil engineering at Mumbai University, and he did his master's at Purdue University, USA. After completing his studies abroad, he returned to India to carry forward his family's proud legacy of preserving and restoring the nation's rich architectural heritage, something that we wouldn't even have heard about. And also, the best thing about him is he has gone to Shark Tank India, where he showcased his mission to preserve India's timeless monuments and structures. What a wonderful guest that we have. Mr. Savani, it's an honor to have you here with us at GIBS IRE Talks. Let us first start and try to understand your journey. So you did your civil engineering from Mumbai, went to US, did your master's degree, and then you came back to India with a mission to join your family business in conserving the monuments and the heritage. What inspired you to do that?
First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for the great introduction. And I'm really grateful to GIBS IRE Talks for having me over here. And the sole intent of being here is to impart the little bit of knowledge I have got throughout my journey and instill a spirit of entrepreneurship, innovation, and research in the viewers of this podcast. Now, talking about my journey, I would say that I've just begun. So yeah, like you said, I am a civil engineer. I got my bachelor's from Mumbai. Then I wanted to get education from the US, so I went to Purdue University. And I was really curious about the way they work there and why is it talked about all the time. Like people are having that fascination of working there. So I wanted to know what all this craze is about. So I decided to work there and know the system in which they work. And then after a couple years, I decided that yes, I wanted to have something of my own and I want to do something good for the country. So I decided to come back, and I was really lucky and privileged enough to have a platform for me where I can expand my skill set and do something good. So that's my family business, Savani Heritage Conservation. And before I get into talking about that, just wanted to talk why do we need this business. So first of all, as you might agree, India has a very rich history. Since from the medieval period, there have been so many different civilizations, so many rulers, different kinds of people from different cultures have come and they went. Our colonizers came and they went. But what they left behind, the physical evidence of that, our heritage monuments, right?
Yeah.
So they tell you stories. But unfortunately, with time, due to negligence, due to different natural as well as human factors like pollution, vandalism, there are so many things that impact these heritage monuments. And if they are not cared for, you won't get to see them after many few years or many years. So that's where we come into picture. And we had very humble beginnings. Like my grandfather was a mason himself and also a carpenter, and he got exposure to um, artistic works and works related to heritage structures. So in his early days, he had struggled and he worked really hard, met the right people, and had a vision of doing something big. So, and he was lucky to get good opportunities. He took them, and slowly but steadily, the business grew. And that's how we are here now. Currently, I think we have completed restoring more than 350 monuments in the
Wonderful.
last 30 years. And some of our projects, like 11 of them, have also been recognized by the UNESCO.
That's really nice to hear. Always anything to do with entrepreneurship, it always starts with a humble beginning. Some person needs to have a vision, and then
course.
from there it goes on and it inspires so many people. So, when you talk about heritage, what exactly do you mean by heritage?
Great question. So, to simplify, I would say heritage is a bridge between the past, present, and the future. Um, it is a symbol of identity of a community, a culture, or actually even a person.
So, what do you think as younger generation should do in preserving these monuments, according to you?
Younger generations should uh, have more awareness about it. First of all, should educate themselves as to why it is important. And to begin with, I think instead of having the fascination of going abroad and exploring the tourist destinations in foreign countries, you should first see what our culture has to offer.
Yeah,
That's how the tourism here will
definitely
grow, right? So when talking about what heritage means again, so there are two aspects of it. One is intangible heritage and tangible heritage. So intangible heritage is something you can't see or touch. It's like um, customs, traditions, practices, even dance forms. Anything good that our history gives us is heritage. So that is intangible heritage, and tangible heritage is something which you can physically feel and physically see. So basically, the artifacts, antique things that you have, and of course the monuments that we have. So India has a treasure of heritage in every corner, like countless of them, and I think many of them are not even explored yet.
very true. So, you talked about your company restoring all these heritage monuments. So, what comes to your mind when I ask, what was your favorite project that you could work on, and what was the result of that particular project? What's something that is close to your heart?
Okay, I mean there are many of such favorite as well as exciting projects, like cause when dealing with many projects where the place is really abandoned, no one has been there in years and years. There have been abandoned forts and palaces that we have worked on, and you never know what's coming for you when you are exploring that place. So one such project, when I was in college, I went to Surat Castle. That was a castle, I think 600-year old something castle, and that was an interesting one. And what we ended up encountering was a secret tunnel while we were restoring it,
Wow.
which the Portuguese used to go into and do their business. So there were a secret tunnels, and while we were restoring Uppercote Fort, we thought that there is just one step well, but we ended up encountering another one which was hidden. So there are many a times you find hidden things which are of archaeological importance when you are exploring such sites. So these are my favorite. Also, we are restoring many temples under archaeology department. So in Maharashtra, we found a secret room where there were statues from, I think, 300 or 400 years ago.
Wow, that is actually interesting.
Yes.
To find out something that you didn't even know existed is great in itself. So, let me come to a question. When we talk about sustainability, right? And you are restoring something that is very ancient. Okay, so are your restoration methods sustainable?
Absolutely, heritage itself is a sustainable practice intangibly itself, because you are preserving the history, you are taking it forward to the upcoming generations. So that is how intangibly you are contributing to sustainability, but also the process itself is very much sustainable. So if there is a very old building and you decide to demolish and create a new building up there, so when you are demolishing it, you are getting rid of so much of material which has so much potential to get restored and carry on. So when you demolish it and you are basically wasting all of that. So also, when you are constructing something new there, you are using so much material. Everything is being constructed back from scratch, and that is probably going to be done using modern methods. So all that is not very sustainable. Now when we are conserving it, of course we are using minimal material because something is already there, and the techniques that we use are mostly including natural material. So the first main principle behind our restoration is most of the work we do includes using lime instead of cement. Now, lime is a natural derivative of limestone, which is again a naturally occurring stone, right? Now, lime is more durable. In simple terms, it's more durable, more breathable, and has more strength than cement. And cement itself is, I think, manufactured using chemical processes, whereas lime is naturally occurring. So one more advantage that lime gives you is that it's absorbs CO2. So during summers you will get a cooler feeling inside a room, and during winters it will keep your spaces warm. So that will eradicate the need of air conditioners. So that's how it's sustainable. One more thing that you will be surprised to know is that we use food ingredients in our binding material. For example, jaggery, natural gum, we use urad dal. So jaggery has excellent properties which helps in uh, binding. Then natural gum is good for waterproofing. Then some dal, which is a good source of protein, is also helping in avoiding cracks. So this is not a new concept. This is a concept that our ancestors used to use in their construction. And before the 1900s, when cement did not even come to India, this is how people used to do the construction. So we are not just restoring a building, we are restoring it in its original form, how it's actually supposed to be. So that's how I feel that it is sustainable.
That's really great. So when you talk about, all these natural materials that you're using for restoring the buildings, right? My question is like, do you find the right kind of employees who know that particular technique?
um,
How do you find people?
so that is a good question. We might not really have a big team of people available readily. This is coming from years and years of training that we have given to our employees. So we have skilled as well as unskilled labor, but we have created a culture of continuous training and development within the team, which is helping each other understand what conservation is. And not just the people who do the hands on work. We have a big team of engineers, architects, and conservation is a new thing to most of them. So we have created a bunch of standard operating procedures. We give appropriate level of training to them, and we hold many different educational sessions for them, which is continuously helping them understand what heritage conservation is and how to do things.
Right. This is very nice because in the organization context, when we teach our students, we always tell them, like, even if you leave the organization, that process should carry on. So the training that you are talking about, no matter who's there, how many generations it has been lost, it will again keep coming back.
Yes.
And we can always use those techniques.
Yes.
Now, there are so many modern techniques like AI is there are 3D scanners, there are drone technology. Do you happen to use any of them during your restoration process?
I mean, of course, this is a fast moving era, right? And we obviously want to utilize any process which helps us do the work faster. So, of course, that the work that we do is from the past, but the mindset that we have is of the present. So, we do use a lot of modern techniques like 3D scanning, there is photogrammetry, there is LiDAR. So how these things help us is before actually starting the work, we have to document the entire project, entire existing structure, and we have to assess it. We have to do damage mapping. Sometimes it takes a lot of time to do that because some structures are like really huge. Uppercote Fort had a 3 kilometer periphery, so it's not possible to do it in a short period of time. So it helps you save time, and many places are not accessible. We are restoring Pratapgarh Fort in Maharashtra. It's over thousands of feet on a mountain, and it's not easy to access these areas. So such technologies have obviously helped us out in understanding the project.
So you spoke like a true engineer. So your engineering skills are in use
Of course,
throughout.
they are. Yeah.
So that is very nice. So sometimes our students feel whatever they learn, it is not practically applicable, okay, in their jobs, which is not true. Correct. So at least some part of it, the basic learning is used somewhere.
Yes.
Right. So I think that is something that they need to make a note of and understand that no matter what you learn, everywhere it is used
It is being used.
in somewhere or the
Definitely.
other.
Yes.
So, sir, can you tell us about your experience on Shark Tank? You went to Shark Tank, you presented about your project. So what was your experience? Exactly did you talk to them about?
So it was a great experience for us. That was the first time we got to talk to common man about our work. I mean, not just the sharks, not just the investors, but since it was on national television, we had to convey it to the common man. So more than talking about the technical things that we do on our day-to-day life in our work, because we are involved with people who already know what we are doing, so that is where we usually talk about the techniques and the methods. But on Shark Tank, we had to before going into the Shark Tank, we had to introspect ourselves that the work that we do, how are we going to explain it to the common person. So that's where our communication skills came into play, and we had to do a lot of brainstorming about the significance of our work and how is our work going to relate to the common man. So that's when we thought more about significance of heritage structures and the stories they tell. So that was a good experience, and that is how we were able to convince investors and into believing in us and relating with what we do.
That is wonderful. So you talked about awareness creation on a larger platform, and Shark Tank definitely provided you with that. Now, coming to awareness, how do you create awareness among the younger generation today about the importance of preserving a monument?
So being on this podcast here is one way to do that, because it is going to definitely create awareness on it. What we do is we host a lot of heritage walks where students from architecture as well as engineering backgrounds who are curious, they come to our projects and we show them what we do, how we do it, and try to create curiosity in their minds and create some inclination in them to pursue this as a career. So that is one way to do that. Recently, last year, we started an institute in Gandhinagar. It's called as Savani Heritage Research Institute, where with continuous research, we are trying to create more and more methodologies and also educate different people on that. We hold seminars there. We train our own people also there, not just the young minds of today. We are training our own people there, and we are also creating a hands-on. It's currently under progress, but we are also creating a hands-on training workshop which will show everyone the methodologies that we actually do.
I hope this comes in a very large scale.
Yes.
So that everybody will understand how they created the craftsmanship behind every single architecture that is there in our country.
Yes.
So I hope, and
Thank you.
I wish you all the best, and I really hope to see that flourish.
Thank you. One more point, a couple more points I wanted to add into the last question. So, what we also do is we document our work using drone photography, imagery. We create a good narrative of the stories of the structure and the story of the restoration. And we create documentaries, we upload them on our YouTube channel, our social media. So, that is another way to create more awareness.
Yeah, this will stay. The documentaries will stay on the internet forever and help the future generations when they look back. How did they do it to figure it out and probably come out with better, innovative ways
That would
to
be
restore, our heritages?
Yes.
Now, is the Indian government doing enough in terms of restoring the heritages, or do you think the policies are adequate enough in preserving them?
Okay. I'll first talk about what the government is currently doing. So, our Honorable Prime Minister has been mentioning a lot in his speeches about our legacy, our heritage, about how it's our treasure and how we should save it. So, I think the government is taking good amount of efforts. ASI, the Archaeological Survey of India, has protected over 3,600 monuments, and archaeology departments, which are the state archaeology departments, they are also protecting thousands of monuments, and they are developing the tourism around it, because it's not just about restoring a monument, it's about also making it more accessible to tourists so that it can be used. So the government is doing a great job on that. There is also a scheme called as Adopt a Heritage Scheme, wherein companies and or individuals can fund into taking care of a heritage monument by funding the maintenance of it, creating tourist facilities around it like signages, maps, washrooms, and other facilities to create a good tourist experience. There is also something called as Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan that you may have heard about. So under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, many heritage schools have been restored. So there are so many school buildings that personally we have observed in Gujarat which had been abandoned. But now under SSA we have been restoring them, and they will be accessible again to students for education.
That's
Uh-huh.
wonderful.
Yes. Other than that, there are smart cities. Although the focus for them is more modern infrastructure, but a part of it also covers heritage. So the government is doing a great job on that. Now, talking about policies where better can be done. I Now, to be a little honest here, um,
Sure.
I think the processes that the government use can be a little time consuming, and the amount of quantum that we have to do, like so much work is to be done to protect the heritage monuments and develop the tourism around it. So it is the process that they have is pretty much time consuming, and if something can be done to speeden up the process, it's more there should be some deadlines to it. There should be more accountability, because if you are working in corporate or in the private sector, you have deadlines, you have to follow a certain protocol, you have to follow the system, and you have to do it all on time, because you are answerable, you have to show your performance, you have to perform well. So something which can be inculcated in government agencies also, that would be really helpful. For example, if an officer is taking a lot of time in approving things and files are just piling up on his desk, it is only going to delay the development of the nation. So, just being honest here, if something like this can be done, it would be great. I'll just give you an example. We had gotten a work order for Kshetra Mahabaleshwar project in Maharashtra, and it has been 10 months. We got the project, we got the work order, we paid the security deposit, but we are not being given access to the project yet because there are no approvals from the client side with the main temple trust, which is what we are going to restore. So because of that, the development is suffering, right? So something like that, I would really would love to see. Also, whenever a project is going to happen, it is through a tendering process where um, anyone can bid. For example, let's say there is a project and there are like 25 to 30 bidders. There will be filters which will, only allow qualified bidders. Now, let's say 20 of them got filtered away and only 15 have qualified. Now, out of those 15 qualified vendors, the one who is the lowest bid will get the project. Now, the lowest bidder does not guarantee that it is going to be the best quality work, right?
100%.
Uh, in Bahauddin College in Junagadh, a contractor who bid 30% below the estimated cost has got the project. But when you look at the work, you will understand that something that is going to be at the lowest bid is not going to be the best quality of work. Like if Shah Jahan had given the work of Taj Mahal to the lowest bidder, you probably wouldn't have seen the Taj Mahal at all.
Yeah.
So these are the areas where I would like to see more development.
So, as you said, like anything has to be time bound. So, there has to be an outcome. It doesn't mean we can compromise on the quality. So,
Right.
as you rightly pointed out, so all of those things are important. I teach a subject called as Indian Constitution. So, when I was teaching this, I was surprised to find out my students didn't even know one of our fundamental duties is to conserve our monuments and the heritage that is there.
Right.
Most people talk about their rights, but then they don't even think about the duties that they have to perform. I think a company like yours, if it is acting as a catalyst, the government can do a better job and at a faster pace
Of course.
to rebuild our nation and to protect our heritage monuments. Now, let me come to a different side of the question. So, still now we were talking about your organization, your company, restoring heritage and all that. This is GIBS. We are a B school, and I would like to ask you questions as a leader.
Okay.
So, as a leader, how do you motivate your employees? You talked about skilled laborers, unskilled laborers. How do you motivate all of them?
So, in order to motivate them, there is two things. There should be purpose. Like every morning, they should know why they are here, and there should be recognition. Now, talking about purpose, us as leaders know the purpose of what we are doing, but the same should be instilled in the minds of the people who work with us. So, daily we keep reminding them of why we do what we do. That in itself does the job of having a good purpose in their minds. And recognition, of course, people who are doing good needs to be recognized. We are going to start employee of the month thing to motivate our people. We also hold biannual symposiums where we all the employees meet for like 3 days. We do knowledge sessions, we do motivational sessions. That is something that keeps them motivated. Also, you need to have a loose hand when it comes to sharing the success. So people who are performing well, they don't just get a fixed salary. We try to incentivize based on how they are performing and how much they are bringing in to the company. That in itself can be a motivational factor and a driver for many top performers. So, an advice for entrepreneurs would be to keep a loose hand on sharing your success with your people.
That is a very great advice,
Thank
something
you.
that I think everybody should follow. So, you talked about quality, you talked about setting a standard. So, how do you make sure your employees are following that particular standard that you set? And as you rightly told me, that you set a much higher standard because you value quality over just
Of course,
quantity,
of
right?
course.
So, how do you make sure your employees are following that set standard?
So right from day one, when the person is new to the company, we have prepared a new hire manual that the person needs to follow, which has all our values, the way we do things, and we assign a peer advisor to them. who will be with them for the first few weeks of their journey with us to advise them, and to make sure that they are, acclimated to our working culture and the way we work. We have different quality checklists that needs to be mandatorily filled out to make sure that the work has been done according to the right quality. So there are many other ways in which we make sure that the work is being done properly and the standards that we are expecting.
Definitely. I'm coming to my favorite question.
Okay.
I'm a marketing professor, so definitely I would like to have a question on marketing. So how do you market yourself? So you talked about Shark Tank, you talked about an interview, a podcast like this that markets your business. What else do you do?
So yeah, I think many people like to say that we let our work speak for itself. But in our case, I don't totally agree to that, because the monuments that we restored will be only seen by a few people. But we need to put ourselves out in the world, right? And I believe that, and you might also agree, that marketing can make a bad product or service also stand out in comparison to a good one. Not saying that we are the bad ones,
Got it.
but yeah. So what we do is we document our work, we photograph it, we spend a lot of effort in doing that. We have an in-house team to create documentaries of the work we do. We put it out on YouTube. What we also do to introduce ourselves to higher level government authorities is we write letters and we attach the coffee table booklets that we have of our projects. And we also create reports of some existing heritage projects that can come into play. So that's how I think we market ourselves.
Yeah. As a marketing professor, I will truly agree. You have to promote yourself. Only then you will have more people who will support this particular project and understand the importance of it.
Yes.
So what are the values that you learned in doing your business?
So, of course, without values, your business can't grow. And first and foremost, one that I would like to talk about is client centricity. Now, many of business owners think that their business revolves around the service or their product or themselves. But the truth is that the client is going to be the heartbeat of your success. So we prioritize the needs and wants of our clients first, and we try to understand the problems that they are facing, and then we try to solve them. So client centricity is the topmost core value that we live by. And sometimes we also try to go out of our way to make sure that the client is satisfied. So that is one. Solution based approach. Now we are in an industry where daily there are many different challenges. Every day is different. There are problems. There will be mistakes. But as a part of our culture, we don't focus on the mistakes. We don't focus on the negative. Every conversation that we have, we talk about solutions and solutions only with a forward-looking mindset. So solution-based approach is something which is really valuable. Another important value that I would like to talk about is commitment and accountability. If you are giving a commitment, it should hold some value. And for that, you need to stick to your commitment. Accountability. We hold our team members accountable. Everyone has to come every day and talk about or write down the things that they are going to do today. And at the end of the day, they have to write what are the things they actually did. And it's a mandatory thing that every team member has to do, so that it instills more accountability in them. So that is one. Also, we are really focused on creativity and innovation. The things we used to do 5 to 10 years ago, the things that we are doing today, we didn't used to do 5 to 10 years back. There are so many new software, new modern techniques, and continuous research and innovation has been carried out in our company. So these are some values that we really live by.
That is very interesting. That is very similar to what we teach in our classes, what they're supposed to do, what is expected. And at the end of the day, there's going to be a review. Something that everybody should, I think, make a note of in their life and use it in every profession. I'm sure that is the same standard that is followed.
Of course.
Right. So coming to the very last question. So you've learned so many things while you did your job, while you're in your journey as a person who's restoring our heritage. So what are the three main values that you can think of, that's something that you learned from your journey, something that our students can use in their life?
So the three things that I would like to advise is details matter, your team is everything, and leadership is a service.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
So it was a very nice, engaging session. So I'm sure all our audience also learned so much about heritage. I'm sure that thought didn't even come to their mind. And they got an exposure to understanding how the old techniques and how the modern practices happen in today's world. Thank you so much, sir, for being here and helping us understand that. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to follow our GIBS IRE Talks. And I'm Dr. Anita Kurian. And this is GIBS IRE Talks, where innovation meets inspiration. Thank you.